These data centers are really having me concerned about the sustainability of it all because they are being looked at as a quick bag of cash similar to NFTs. We need to talk about the data centers that are basically going to happen in the US no matter what. Like, people are really voting against this thing, and the cities are just approving it behind everyone's backs for that quick bag of cash. Believe it or not, data centers have been around for a very long time. And if you look back on YouTube, you can see that Google has done videos of data centers for almost 20 years. And honestly, you really have to think about how this video was put out there, how you buy things on Amazon. A lot of it relies on data centers. Even my current job has a few data centers that we rely on to relay information to each other. But it wasn't until recently where AI became an infinite amount of money, and so they have put more emphasis on these data centers being constructed. Regardless of what politician or what celebrity is saying that these will actually help the community, that statement is false. The true way to help a community grow is by giving money back to the community. It's not by building a wall of computers. The environmental impact that these data centers have caused, because we've had data centers go on for so long now that scientists were able to study how these data centers impact the world around it. Water is a big issue. Air quality is another big issue. The heat that these buildings produce is a huge issue for the environment, and as well as electricity. There's 4 big issues that these data centers have. And one concerning thing that I haven't seen come out of a lot of the tech atmosphere, especially within YouTube and TikTok, is how these data centers are impacting its environment. I think that we need to call out some of the tech channels that are not making this thing important for the community around it. And speaking more on the community, a lot of people are not being heard on their concerns about these data centers and what they will do to the future. How will this impact families in the future? And on top of that, we have to think about the tech that's inside. Tech does not last forever, and it tends to age. And so are we going to be paying for these upgrades that it needs? And I sure hope not, because I hope that these companies that are backing these data centers are going to be paying for the longevity of AI. But realistically, that wouldn't be true, because what they're trying to hit is a subscription service. Now, going back to people not being heard, there's going to be a large data center being built in Utah that is really just for money gain. It is not for the community. It's not going to better the community at all. And whenever you're talking about thousands of acres of land that is using a data center, it is really concerning for the environment. If you had 20 Walmarts all put together in a row, you would really be concerned about how that is impacting the environment around it. In my hometown, there are certain people within media coverage that are not really listening to the people and are actually insulting the people just to have these stupid data centers being built. And on top of that, we really need to talk about small towns having data centers. I live in Texas, and so there are certain towns within Texas that are going to have a data center, and the town is so small, they had no chance to vote this thing out. And to me, that's just concerning for the people, and it's concerning that we aren't putting the money back towards the community to help it grow. This large data center that is being conceptualized in Utah is basically because of the military narrative behind it. Whenever you have the keyword of military and money behind the data center, it obviously becomes more of a profit-seeking narrative. Here in my hometown, I have a local representative that is in Congress that is using AI as a security concern, and that we need to be ahead of like China or Russia. But if you do some digging on his relatives, some of them are in the oil and gas industry. So that has me thinking, how many other people are are in the oil and gas industry that are fueling this AI narrative? Is it going to put money back into the families that are investing into the gas and oil sector, or is it going to drain them? Because for me, it does really look like the narrative that it is a security concern is more for profitability, not just for AI and subscription services, but also for the fuel industry. In 2024, a lot of celebrities were fighting for their rights and fairness with AI, but that seems to be gone. There are still a few actors and musicians that are fighting for their rights within AI, but a lot of them have sold out. I'm going to bring this up because it is a really good service, but I was watching Tubi, and obviously, you know, there are really decent movies on that platform that are, you know, it's for free. The offset of it is watching commercials. If you came from the era of the 2000s like I was, commercials were everywhere. And so I don't mind watching commercials, but within these commercials, I have seen so many AI commercials, and not just like AI generated commercials, but celebrities promoting AI as a tool to help someone have more profitability. The one that comes to mind is Idris Elba, who I love as an actor, but now has me really concerned because how much money did he get off the back end of these commercials? Realistically, we have to hold celebrities up to the high standard that we put them on. Another one is Matthew McConaughey, and he is kind of like a local resident around the city that I reside in. Or what about James Cameron, who made the controversial film The Terminator, which highlights the downsides of AI and what it can do to a society. There's been multiple headlines on him flip-flopping on the idea that AI is good and AI is bad. And I think the flip-flop headlines are because of him making a bold statement that it can be used as a tool for VFX, but it should not be used to replace actors and actresses. Now, a cool thing to come out of it is that it does appear that they are not going to give out awards for AI generated content, so that's great. But it does seem like Hollywood is desperate for money, which is really, really concerning on where we are at within society. Now, moving past these celebrities that have sold out, we need to go back to how they are toting AI as it's going to create millions and millions of jobs, whenever that is simply not true. If you go back to what I had stated in the beginning of this video, which is data centers have been around for a very, very long time now. If you look at the numbers behind those data centers, there's no more than 100 employees. And you have to think about like the computers that we have at our homes and how often we keep them on during the day. Whenever you go to work, do you keep your computer on, or do you keep something running and it just doesn't need you? Like, it's not a pet. Like, you don't have to give it water, you don't have to give it nutrition. These data centers are the same way. Now, something can go wrong and something can fail, and that requires somebody to replace that particular thing. Realistically, that's only going to take a few hours of replacement versus having to take care of like a child or a pet, or just something that requires a lot of attention and care. Another concerning element within these AI data centers is the cost-cutting measures within the construction of them. Why are a lot of data centers built above ground and not below ground, in the sustainability of that within like weather and environments and stuff like that? I remember a few years ago watching this video of all these empty buildings around metro areas. A lot of the buildings were used for data centers, and it really had me thinking on why are these data centers not being built underground? And the whole reason for that is because it is more expensive to put them underground than it is to just leave them above ground, which at that point would be concerning because of like environmental issues such as like tornadoes that come through there. Or what if these data centers are sitting on the coastline and a tsunami happens? The cost-cutting narrative behind these data centers is really what should be looked at, because if we are going to talk about data centers, we need to be talking about how we can make it more environmental friendly. Water is a big concern and energy is a big concern. We've already seen in the last 50 years that there's a lot of creative ways to make technology more efficient, but that's not being looked at. So why would we want these AI data centers in the first place? We as people are being sold out each day, especially with these data centers, and it's really starting to be a concerning part of life. And if we want to see a future where society flourishes, we need to put money back into the community. So before I end this video, there are a lot of concerning things that I have seen recently, which is like celebrities investing into AI after they fought so hard to have their rights and fairness. I think selling out for money and just having like a fourth house on the coast, it's just so concerning. And as funny as it sounds with all the crap that I have behind me, I think that putting money back towards the community and not towards some computer would be more beneficial to the future. With that being said, what do you think about the AI data centers being conceptualized and being approved on without citizens' approval? Are you as concerned as I am?